let's talk about something really fun today.
Yes, let's talk about AI.
Let's talk about AI. Everyone's talking about AI.
I love AI.
Here we are. AI is very helpful
Very helpful.
for very particular things.
And it can be very misleading.
Problematic.
Problematic.
And misleading.
If not used correctly.
Correct.
And it can do so many things so well, and it can lead you down some good paths. It can also lead you astray or not lead you far enough or just reinforce what you want to hear.
Yes. Yes, and we've seen this many times just by playing around with it ourselves.
Right.
And you've heard stories. Everyone's heard the really awesome stories of attorneys using case law from AI that weren't actually cases.
Completely made up.
Yes. This unfortunately happens more often than it should. I don't know why attorneys aren't actually using legal research to do legal research, but nonetheless, it's problematic, but it can be used for good. So let's talk about why it is good. What can we get from AI?
Oh, AI is good for many reasons as it helps you think of things. Like, I'm interested in a will. Okay, here's what you need for a will. And you can limit it to, okay, the state of Nevada. And potentially they'll look at our statute and say, okay, for a will to be valid in Nevada, you need to have it signed and dated and be witnessed by two people that are not on the will.
Non-takers, yeah.
Non-takers. Okay, that's good. That's more information than you had before. But maybe you didn't even know what question to ask. So you don't know. It's only going to feed you information as good as the questions you can ask it.
Exactly. And if you don't have the correct questions, you're not going to get the correct answers.
Right.
So AI is synonymous with form filling to an extent.
Mm-hmm.
So when you don't have an attorney that is helping you with an estate plan and you're using a document preparer, sometimes financial advisors like to do this. Sometimes CPAs like to do these. Sometimes document preparers like to do these. Okay. So you have this whole gamut of people that aren't necessarily attorneys, but have some sort of semblance or have a handle on estate planning, including AI.
Right.
So when you have these things, estate planning are documents. They're documents. Estate planning it is document preparation.
Yes.
To an extent.
Right.
If you are going to one of these other people, generally that's what it is. It is a document or documents that you are getting handed. Right. Same thing with AI. It is a document you're asking to be prepared.
It is a templated document that has blank lines. It's going to ask you questions to fill in those blank lines.
Exactly. And that is not what we do.
Not at all.
So you have one set of things that will be preparing documents. Yep. And then you have estate planning attorneys. And there is a huge distinction between the two different groups.
Right.
The main distinction is going to come down between, does your ultimate outcome equal to what that entity or that person is doing? And if your estate planner is good, the answer is yes. With the other group, the answer is probably no.
Probably no. And you're not going to find out until something happens.
Until it's too late.
Yes.
So tell me, if I have AI, if I have a non-attorney preparing documents for me, what kind of, and I'm the heir, okay? Mom did her estate planning through her favorite person that is not an attorney, okay? This isn't true. My mom would never do that. Anyway, so someone does their documents through a non-attorney.
Right.
Their heirs, if something is wrong with the documents, what kind of claim do they have?
They have no claim because there's no one, but not even more simple. They don't know who to call. Mom passes away. I see these documents. I may just see drafts of them. I may see a signed one. I don't know. Who do I call? Well, if they're not prepared, they don't have a card, an attorney card that says, call Short and Stevens if
anything happens.
If anything happens, let me call Short and Stevens. They'll talk me through this.
They will pick up the phone.
They'll pick up the phone. They can answer my questions. Good, bad, or indifferent, they can answer my questions. AI can't answer your questions.
Well, they can, but you don't know if it's accurate or not.
Right. And it's not specific to the documents Mom signed.
Right. And it's going to come to a point where you can upload documents and they can regurgitate them and tell you what they mean pursuant to the document. I think that already exists.
Right.
However, again, it's going to feed to what you're trying to do. I personally have tried to get AI to give me the information that I would have given to a client. by asking the questions that I would have asked the client, and I can never give it. I can never get it to give the answer I would have given.
Right.
Now, some people might say, well, maybe AI is better than you. And I mean, maybe to some extent, AI has a lot more information accessible to it than I do. However, it doesn't have the experience or the acumen to emotional intelligence. Okay. And that comes into a huge part because AI doesn't understand chaos after a loss.
Right.
You can't get AI to understand what the headspace is of this person going through this thing. Whereas if I see you or I talk to you, I can know it instantly. I have to teach it to do that in order to get that result. And with an attorney, hopefully, at least with Short and Stevens attorneys, you get that immediately. There is no learning. We're going to be able to tell you what has to happen, what happens next, what your expectation is, and how we get to the outcome you want. We do that because we're not form fillers. Our product is not this document. That's part of our product,
Right.
but we're a service.
That's how it manifests. But the knowledge of talking with us, all of our experience, knowing you, knowing what your goals and what your desires are with these documents, that we can put in the document so it reflects. But not only that, taking it to the next step, one of the main reasons trust fail is because no one funds them. They don't put the assets in them. And AI is not doing that for you.
No.
They're not, okay, you have a trust. Yay. Well, is my house in the trust at this point? No. You have to take additional steps to get that house in the trust.
Right. And even if AI says you need to remember to fund your documents, because at some point it probably will. It will recognize, with all the blogs out there, it will recognize that that's a fail that usually happens.
Right.
Trust's not funded. And it can even say, but is it going to prepare the deed for you? Is it going to tell you what needs to be on it? Is it going to tell you where you need to go? Is it going to tell you what happens if it gets kicked back? Is it going to tell you all of this?
Or where to go to record it?
Or what happens if you refinance? Or what happens if you sell? Or what happens? Okay, we can ask, but if you don't know the questions to ask it, it's not going to give you the information you need. That is a simple document recorded, get the end result, which, AI might be able to get eventually. But what happens when you're doing a document or a form filler or you're talking to a non-attorney and the question comes up, how is the relationship with your family? How's the relationship with your family?
It's great.
Great.
We all love each other. Everybody gets along.
Exactly.
Great.
Okay. So you're telling the person that is not an attorney, or you're telling AI that is great. If there is no follow-up question, then I'm going to prepare a document where everyone gets along.
Right.
But I would never stop there. I can't stop there because I know better. I hope that your family is great. I hope that everyone is successful. I hope that no one ever falls on hard times. I hope life treats them well. I do.
100%.
Unfortunately, the reality, it's not. Even if you have the perfect child, the perfect spouse, the perfect anything.
Right.
Life can be hard. Life can be mean to people sometimes, of no fault of their own.
Right. Or the people that influence them. Make them feel that they were mistreated. Make them feel that, no, the document really should have been this way.
Outside influence.
Outside influences.
There are all of these nuances that you can never get into if you don't ask the right questions. Or the person, and as an attorney, we've been trained to do that.
And I think you brought up a great point. You're like, you've used AI and tried to put in the information. So you know what information, you know what questions to ask, and got documents that would still be different than what we would prepare.
Right.
You know the questions to ask.
Right.
What if you don't know, you don't even know the questions? You're like, I need a will. I have 4 kids. I want everybody to get an equal share. Done. And they all can be the successor trustees. Done. And then we'll prepare something and you'd have a trust. But that doesn't even get to the beginning of, scratch the surface of what the questions need to be.
Right.
But did you know that? You don't.
No, and why would you?
Why you don't need to know that. That does not help your everyday life. But when you're thinking about and making the investment of time and effort and financial to do something like this, you should have somebody that knows the questions to ask, that does it on every day. Every day they help people get their estate plans how best fit for them.
Right. And a lot of people want to say they want to price shop. And I get it. I price shop all the time. I want to find the best product at the cheapest price. Completely understand it.
100%.
But you do get what you pay for. Okay, so if someone's going to charge you a couple $100 for these documents, you understand that you're getting a couple hundred documents value out of this.
Right.
So expect a couple $100 value of your documents. If you're paying more, if you need transportation and you want to take a bike, that's one thing. If you want to take a Maserati, that's something else.
Right.
If the goal is to make sure that you have an estate plan that's going to result in the outcome you want, an attorney is necessary. You cannot expect AI, somebody else that is document filling, to pick up the phone when you call because the document didn't work. You can't. And what's their liability? Sorry, I didn't provide legal advice. I didn't give you legal advice. I was just filling out the form for you. I'm just a form filler. AI has no culpability.
Right.
So where are you going to go?
Just the information you gave me.
Yep. You gave me the information, not provide. And that's what you're always going to see. If you see something that says, I'm not an attorney, I'm not providing legal advice, you should run.
100%.
Because where is the liability there? They could do something terrible, and we see it all the time.
Yes.
They could do something that royally messes up the estate, and there is no problem in doing that.
Right. And then once the person passes and someone's actually reading the trust, there's nothing you can do at that stage.
I've called plenty of document preparers and said, hey, this isn't right. And they're like, well, they gave me that information.
That's the information they gave me. So that's what I put down. No follow-up question.
Nope.
Nothing that says,
well, did you know that there was a kid that lived in Texas?
Right.
Well, no, they didn't tell me that. Well, did you ask them if there were any adopted kids? If there were any half siblings? Did you ask any of these questions? Well,
only
no.
the information that you put down is what they're going to use. And you, in your defense, you don't know what questions that you should ask or what is relevant. Oh, did you need to know that blah, blah, blah. Whatever they needed to know, you didn't know that was important to this document.
You can buy forms all day. You can buy forms all day.
Right.
And unless you know how to use them, they're useless.
Yes.
So in the grand scheme of things, when you're thinking about AI and you're thinking of that, everyone always says, are you scared? Are you scared AI is going to take over your jobs? Are you scared? No,
Nope.
Not at all. I think it's going to help. I think it's going to make legal research faster, presuming it's within the realms of what it should be. I think even document preparation it can make faster. I think AI is going to be helpful.
100%.
And I think it's going to be helpful to most professions. Do I think it's going to replace us? No, because we're not giving you documents as our service. We're giving you service as our service. We're going the extra mile. We're asking about those things. We're checking in to make sure you know the law's changed.
And when AI is going to be helpful to us, but it's also creating a lot of bad documents out there. That's just going to be more work for us. So maybe we are not going to get to do your estate plan, but when somebody passes away, we're going to get you at probate because your trust didn't do what it was supposed to. And you have to go through probate now, which is what you were trying to avoid.
Right. And so you paid, I don't know, you paid $1,000. You paid some small amount. But guess what? If we did that probate today, you're looking anywhere from $3,000 to infinite amount of money.
Right.
Depending on what happens that goes wrong. And you have to understand that if I say $3,000 today, that is on the low end. That means you have a bank account maybe. On the low end.
If you have a house and a bank account and a car right now, you're probably looking at, in Nevada, a probate of what? $5,000 to $10,000, right in that range, depending on things. And that's today's prices.
Right.
Somebody dies in 20 years. What are the prices going to be then?
Exactly. And if you did your documents, and I kind of talk about this sometimes with prepaid burial or funeral expenses. What you pay today is going to be much cheaper than anything you pay in 10 years from now. Which is the same thing with estate planning. If you can get your estate planning done 10 years ago, it's going to be much cheaper than it's going to be when you pass away going through probate.
Right.
So even if you're looking at prices and you're like, oh, well, probate's only $5,000 and this estate plan's more than that, why would I ever pay more? I'll just go through probate. Well, that's today. If you're even going to make that comparison, which you don't know because who knows, it's statutory or they're going to charge hourly or there's going to be, you have no idea. We're giving you a low end. What's that going to be when you actually pass away? So when you have these cost comparisons, everyone wants to do dollar for dollar, but it doesn't actually work out that way because everything is going to get more expensive. It's just how it's going to be.
And then that doesn't even take into consideration the time. Like probate is a long process.
And trauma.
And dealing with an attorney and having to go through all those documents that who knows where they are. I mean, there is trauma going through probate where it could be alleviated if it's just in trust.
Yeah, I mean, you have entire families that will dissipate. They
Yes.
will fight and they will never talk again, all because of what could have been avoided wasn't, or the expectation wasn't there. And so I think to kind of wrap it all up, AI will be great. Form filling is great if you can do it correctly.
Right.
But ultimately, if you want to be safe and know for sure that your outcome is exactly what you want, you should be going to an attorney
Yes.
because otherwise you're going to end up there anyway most of the time.